The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural, metaphysical, paranormal. You know, all those things you've been wondering about? Are you ready to go deeper into the realms of the unknown? I hope you've got your walking shoes on, because life is an adventure, and this is the journey. Come on, let's go. Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. This is the Journey Radio Show, and hey, we're the She Squatchers. I'm Jen Cruz, your host, and I've got my trusty teammates. Both of them are here. Jenna Grover. Hey, Jenna.
Well, bonjour. That's French for hello.
Hello. And I've got Tammy Trickle. Hey, Tammy.
Hi. That's English for hi.
Bonjour, Anin, which is Ojibwe for hello and welcome.
I love this opening today. Wow.
Yes. We have a super awesome show for you guys tonight. We have a special guest joining us from northern Minnesota, Black Duck, Minnesota, Randy Bauer. Welcome, Randy.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
I'm glad to be here.
We only have an hour together, so I want to just get right into it. Of course, we're here to talk about Bigfoot, our favorite. But how did you get interested or start thinking about Bigfoot?
Okay, about 8 years ago, I never thought about Bigfoot. I did not believe in it, believed in it or disbelieved in it, didn't even think about it. And I've been a big deer hunter. And after deer hunting's over, the next day I'll always walk back on the land to see if I can see where the deer herd up at, with all the hunting pressure, and if I can find where they go, maybe put a new stand. And behind the house here, I did that after deer hunting that next Monday, 8 years ago. And I'm walking away back in the woods there, and all of a sudden I think, what the heck? I could see where there was snow on the ground. I could see where 3 deer beds had laid real close together, and there was nothing but hair, massive hair. That wasn't that way on Sunday. Just hair, some blood, and there wasn't one track. But right away, my mind is thinking, oh God, a pack of wolves back here, and I don't have no gun or nothing. So I got out of there, went back home, and I noticed there was no deer in our area anymore for a while, for like a month. I'd tell my wife, there's no deer back behind our house. We got deer all the time where we live. And then I play in a band, and I have a sound company, and we went back on the road. We were in Nevada playing in the Las Vegas area. When I came home in February, there was a lot of snow that year, way past your knees. So I took the snowmobile and rode behind the house back on the state land. So I knew it would freeze that night because it was going to be 40 below that night. So I could walk the next day. And so I'm walking in my snowmobile trail, and I come around these tracks, and I kind of ruined them, not knowing what I was looking at first, but I was thinking, what are those tracks? They were 18 inches long and a 7-foot spread in between each step, and they were directly in line. They stepped across our river. I tried to follow them as far as I could going towards the cedar swamp, but every step I was past my knees. I couldn't follow them no more. So I just looked up Bigfoot in Minnesota there, and I come across the SRA. And at that time, it was Jim Hebb that was ahead of it. And I sent the pictures to him. He writes me back right away. He says, Randy, you got a squatch. And that's how this all started. And then he told me what to look for in the spring and all that stuff. And ever since then, I've had a lot. I've seen him 7 times, close up, AA Class A sightings, close, in the daylight, not behind a tree or nothing, right in our power line. My wife has seen them, grandkids have seen them, stepdaughter has seen them, the neighbors have seen them. They have been spotted here 19 times close up. And that's how this all got started.
Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
I know. And like before that, I never believed in Sasquatch, but I didn't not believe in it. I didn't give it a thought. Never thought about it.
Same here.
What else do you
usually
want to
how
know?
It starts.
Yeah, I know. So have they been here all the time? Maybe they have been. I just never paid no attention to that. And ever since then, I have lots of structures, a lot of teepees, X's, A's. They make letter V's. And I'm real good at knowing if it's a real structure now because there's no root base. I'll look and say, oh, these were placed here They were brought here. They're not from there. They're in a tree that fell over and landed. Because not everything is a Sasquatch structure in the woods. And here's another thing. I've been hunting since I'm 12 years old. I'm 63. Not once I've ever seen dead sticks fly through the air and land in an X or teepee. Not once in my whole life, ever. That don't happen. So, okay, where else you want me to go from? What else do you want me to tell you? I have so much I could talk about, I don't know where to start.
Well,
So you, oh, sorry.
go ahead, Jenna.
Well, I was just going to say, so you told us how you kind of got started with it. So what were some more experiences? Like after that first experience with those footprints, what happened next?
Well, I would never shoot one. That's nothing I'm going to ever do. But I was carrying a rifle with me when I'd walk these woods back here looking for stuff all the time. And then I was told, well, they bring apples out there. And my uncle had 120 acres behind our 40 acres. And then it was state land. But my uncle sold it to the neighbor and he fenced it. But before that was fenced, I could ride the four-wheeler all the way back to the state land. And one time, got my four-wheeler and a ladder, held it behind me like this here, drove about 1.5 miles with the ladder there, and I got 12 apples, or 6 apples. I cut them in half. The president, I brought the ladder because I wanted to put them high up in a tree in poplar trees so that if a raccoon climbed up, I could see the scratches, and a deer wouldn't been able to get them. If a bear climbed up there, a cub, I'd see the scratches in the poplar tree. They were gone every day. Every night I went back there in the evening, I'd have to put new apples up. And so one night, there's a deer stand close by. I thought I'd set in that deer stand. And I seen one cross the little trail going towards those apples. It was just a glimpse. That wasn't my class A, AA sightings. It was just a glimpse. And I always felt really weird back in there too. I always have uneasy feeling back in that spot. And I've had some of the SRA guys come here and they've camped there. And one's a native guy, and he definitely does not like going in that one area. He doesn't tell me why. He's just totally uneasy right there. And there's a really huge teepee there. That's a massive teepee. You should see it. Well, you will see it sometime.
Yes.
So, and then Jim, he said, Randy, you got to stop carrying a rifle. You don't want to carry a rifle. No, don't do. So I don't carry a rifle no more. I do bring a pistol with me because we have lots of bear here. I've seen cougars before here, and lots of timber wolves. And it's better to have a gun with you and not use it than not have that pistol and need it. Then what do you do? And I'm not going to shoot a bear either, but if I was being attacked, I got to do something. I can't beat it with a dead stick.
Definitely.
So, right.
See, can I ask you a quick question? And I'm sorry to interrupt, but you said you were leaving apples. Did you ever get anything back? I know sometimes you get gifted.
Yes. I have lots of gifts.
Okay.
I have lots of gifts. You want me to tell you that quickly? I have lots of Y sticks, and sometimes they'll be put where I put the apple. Sometimes they're put on my steps. I have lots of deer skulls, 40 of them right now to be exact. And I know they're gifts to me because they'll be put in my deer stand. Well, a skull can't crawl up on my deer stand. It's got to be for me. And there'll be times I'll walk on a trail back in the woods way back there, and I'll come back on the same trail, and there's a deer skull there. Well, how did it get there? It wasn't carried there. And these deer skulls are old. And when a buck drops its horns, squirrels and porcupines, they eat on those horns. They eat them up. It's protein. These skulls, and some of them are 8-point bucks. There's no chew marks on them, nothing. And I think the reason why is because Sasquatch or Bigfoot got their smell on them and no animals will touch them. That's what I think. What else would it be? So yeah, I got 40 deer skulls. In fact, I had them in my yard there. My wife, she made me move them. She didn't like seeing them there. So I do. And I just got another one yesterday. I'm walking back in the woods. Now this is a weird one. And I come across a bloody skull poking up in the snow, but his eyes are up looking in the sky like this. It's in the snow like this. Here's his eye right here and his teeth, his mouth this way, looking into the sky, into the snowbank, in the middle of the woods. What's that? I'm not saying it's a gift to me on that one, but that's weird. But I did pick it up and take it home. Last year, back in that same wooded area, I come across, this was be in the spring, I come across another deer skull, like a 2-pointer or a 4-corn buck, but it was down into the dirt, and there was an X, a birch tree about that long. Can you see my hands? About that big around, and an X through its horns like this in the middle of the woods. I'm dead serious. I got pictures of it. Now, what is that? There ain't no human doing that. And nobody, I can tell you right now, nobody in our area trespasses. The state land is landlocked, if you know what I mean. There's other farmers that have land all the way around. You can't get to it unless you have permission, and nobody goes back there. I'm the only one who goes back there, except there's 2 guys that go hunting back there. They've done it for 40 years, but they only go back there the week before hunting and make sure their stand's fine, and then they hunt that weekend, and then they're out of there. And so there's nobody going back there and gonna say, hey, I'm gonna do this here and make this here, or put a skull here, see if Randy finds it. That ain't happening. So I lost my train of thought. Where were we at now? What was I gonna tell you? We were talking about the apples.
Yep. I had brought you back to the apples. You were
I know
talking
what I was
about.
Okay, then Jim told me, Randy, you got to announce your name. You got to talk when you're out there. And I feel like I'm used to doing it now, but I felt like well, I can't swear, like a dummy talking to the woods by myself. Here I'm talking to the woods. So one day he said, take your phone. If you don't have a GoPro camera, go back in the woods where you go and talk, announce yourself, talk to them. So I did that. And I'd say, hey, it's Randy here. You know me. I'm fine. I'm just looking at your stuff there. And once in a while I take a picture like this, like that. And when I got home, you guys know somebody named Raven Hawk? Raven Hawk?
Yeah.
Okay. When I got home, nobody's home. My wife was gone. We didn't have this dogs in. I'm looking at my phone, and I never download pictures on my phone from somebody else. I don't do that. And looking at my phone there, oh my God, I got 3 Sasquatches from when I went like that. But it was a Raven Hawk picture. I don't know how I got there. I do not know how I got there. But anyways, when I got excited, all of a sudden, kapow on the side of my house. It shook the house. I said, oh, somebody at the door? But it was really loud. I get up there to start walking, and it goes, Randy, in a female voice, says my name. I go outside there, there's nobody there. But there's a big oily fingerprint, handprint on the side of my house.
How big was the print? Just curious.
Big like this, big, long
And
fingers.
did you see each one of the tips of the finger pads?
You've seen everything.
So how big were the finger pads, do you think? About the size of a quarter? 50-cent piece?
Yeah, like that there, and long, fingers long like that, big. And that's the first time anything like that happened. And then our band guys, so we play on the road, not weekends around here. They play like Arizona, Wyoming, all those states. We have the band guys that got a trailer house in our yard because they're from South Dakota, where they're from. They can't go home when we have a week off. They would stay there. And about 4 in the morning, the guitar player, he never went to bed in that trailer house down there till about 4 or 5 in the morning. He was out sitting smoking his cigarette on the picnic table down there. And he came in the next morning and said, Randy, I'll never sit out there again. I said, what? Something huge walked through the yard, like 9-10 feet tall, had red eyes, and it was going like the Tasmanian devil, he said. That's what it sounded like. That's what he described it. Well, I thought he was just making fun of my stuff back here. He wasn't. About a month later, they're all gone. Me and Terry woke up about 4 in the morning of the same thing. I think there was 2 of them walking through the yard. Our yard light wasn't working, but they went from west to east, back towards the river. And I can kind of make the sound that they do. Don't laugh, but I'll do it anyways. It's just like the Sierra sounds. Because I was talking to Jim from the SRA, and he said, well, Randy, go to the Sierra sounds. Is that what you heard? Exactly what I heard. It had like that. Terry heard it. She got up, looked right away. I kind of laid there in bed for a second there, and that popped up, but we couldn't see it. But I think there was 2 of them conversing. So he was not making that up. He did hear that, and he's seen it. And then my first double, I call it a double Class A sighting. I had to go down to Minneapolis to play with the band Boogie Wonderland. I play sax and keyboards. That's that disco band. And I had my pickup all polished up. I didn't want to drive down my muddy driveway. So I thought I'd drive down the power line, because at the end of it, there's another approach. And the 40.
I think Randy has locked up. I thought maybe it was just me, but I think maybe his internet has paused. So we'll just carry on without him until he's. Are you back, Randy?
Oh, am I? Yeah.
Yes.
My internet is good here.
Okay. Well,
You
it
got
just
after
paused you,
timing.
so you were paused.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Where did I leave off at? You there?
I can't hear you, Tammy.
You were saying that you didn't want to drive your truck down the driveway,
Okay,
so
yeah,
you were
yeah.
going, and there was an approach at the
So-
end of the.
Yeah, and a 40 acres, the 40 acre square is a quarter mile by quarter mile by quarter mile by quarter mile. I get down to the end of the quarter mile there, and I see something down on the halfway down the next 40 acres on the side of the bushes, but in the power line corridor. And I'm looking at it, I said, "What's that?" I say to myself, "That's really weird looking, really wide." So I say, "I'm going to get on pickup and walk down there." I start walking down there. I get 100 yards from it, and it still hadn't. So I'm not sure what it is. I get like 50 yards from it. It stands up. It's that red Sasquatch. We look at each other. I look at it close. It's in broad daylight, like 2 in the afternoon. And I don't know what happened there. For some reason, I go down like this, look at my shoe for 1 split second, look up, it's gone. But I got 17-inch tracks out of it. We found tracks of it. But guess what? I don't think they're tracks of a foot. What they were, I'd have to show you the track. It's because it's got like a dew claw. It's got like here in a dew claw like this coming out. That's not a dew claw. What it was his fist, and that's a thumb, and it's his wrist back here. That's what we got. We got the knuckles, the thumb, and the wrist. That's
That
what I
makes
got.
sense.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because they don't have no dew claw, but that's what it looked like at first. So
But did you
last
say
week-
that? Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering, did you say there was prints as well, or just?
It was
Yeah.
in the mud, and I thought it was a foot. So we
Okay.
casted it, but it had this thing, and I thought, well, is that a dew claw or something? What's that thing poking to the side? But we figured it out. It's got to be knuckles like this, and the thumb,
Yeah.
and the wrist back here. That's what we got.
That's awesome.
So last year, I'm walking down the same power line in the same area. I see something black. I get about 150 yards from it. It's in the daytime. It's a black Sasquatch. Now on our power line poles, there's 10 feet up, there's a black plastic wrap. And the reason that's there so raccoons and porcupines can't crawl past that and chew on the wires. That thing was 4 feet from that power line, and its head was even with that black plastic wrap. It was 10 foot. I'm walking, and I got my phone in me, and I'm not going to take my eyes off of it. Trying to get my phone up here looking at it and trying to get my video thing, I'm going to videotape it. All I got was the grass. I get about 50 yards from it, maybe 60 yards from it, and guess what it did? Gone, disappeared into thin air. Poof, gone. It did not walk. I would have seen it walk. It did not walk. It was just poof, gone.
Wow.
That's the
So was there a
interdimensional
flash
thing
of
right there.
Wow.
light or anything, or was it just
No,
poof
nothing.
gone?
It was just gone. I never
So-
took my eyes off of it.
So is
Not
this what started making you believe in
Oh,
interdimensional?
no. I got a lot more than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tell us. Tell
Well,
us.
but I want to tell you another sighting with my granddaughters. My wife, she won't walk around the woods here, and her daughter will not walk around the woods anymore after she's seen one. They just won't. It's so massive to them, it's like they can't believe it. So they just won't do it. I can't even talk them into it. I try. I go out there by myself all the time. But anyways, she had to go, I guess it'd be 3 years ago now, up to Kellier, Minnesota to help her daughter paint some rooms. So I had the 9-year-old and the 5-year-old with me. She said, "Don't take those girls out to the woods." I said, "No, don't worry, I won't." So we waited about an hour or so, and I was kind of bored. I said, "Girl, let's walk down the power line." And I forgot my phone. I said, I don't need my phone. We're just walking down the power line, and that's right by our house here, and then we'll come back. We get like I say 200 yards, and I see this black thing down in the same spot. And I say to myself, well, I don't remember a tree there. Well, of course, there's no tree there. They cleared the power line a long time ago. There's not going to be a tree right by the power line pole. So I get a lot closer to it, and I swear I'm not going to take my eyes off it. And I know it's a Sasquatch when I knew it was. What did I do? I turned around and said, "Girls, get up by me." And I turned around again. It was gone. I did not realize a 9-year-old was watching it. And she said, "Grandpa, I just seen a tall, hairy black giant walk in the woods." She's seen it walk in the woods. Now, when we got home, I have never showed her the Patterson-Gimlin film or talk about her, any of that stuff. I asked her to walk for me. How did it walk? Exactly like that Patterson-Gimlin film with its arms going back and forth, you know. And if it was a bear, for people that don't believe in Sasquatch, bear's arms are up here. These arms were down by its legs, its knees. And I asked her to draw me a picture of it, and that's what she drew. She said, I'm not an artist, just draw what you've seen. I said, shut your eyes and imagine and draw it. And she drew them, arms are down by its knees. So I do have that picture somewhere. But yeah, so she's seen it. And the little one, she didn't really see it. But one night, the little one's sleeping on the couch here, and she swears she sees one looking in the window at us. I don't know if that's true or not, but she swears she did. I'm going to give you 3 scenarios why I know that they're interdimensional. Okay, Doug Highcheck, I don't do cameras no more. Cameras do not work. They mess up the SD cards, they drain the batteries. I could go through so many batteries, I quit going through batteries. I don't do it anymore. But anyways, Doug Highcheck said, I'm going to give you 3 scenarios. Doug Highcheck said, Randy, put a camera back out in my gifting area where I give them peanut butter. I've gone through 140 jars of peanut butter last year. And I know it's not bear, because I say the bear jars, guess what they do? They open the lid up, and it was a yellow lid, a red lid, a blue lid, brown lid, green lid. They're all in color order down on the ground by the tree. Well, bear wouldn't do that. And the peanut butter jars look like the ones that I do have look like they went through a dishwasher, totally clean. And they hang them back up on a tree, branch of a tree, upside down. Well, that's not a bear doing that.
No.
Okay. But anyways, Doug said, Randy, put a camera back out there again and just say, hey, can you guys, whether they're female or male, I say you guys. Can you guys give us a picture? It'll only be for me and Doug. We won't show it to nobody. But I said, if you don't want no pictures ever, cameras ever being here, give me a sign that you don't want no cameras ever being here. And I'm not yelling it. There's no leaves on the trees. It's in the fall. I can see a long ways. I come back the next day. Guess what? There's a 15-foot Y-stick tree on my camera. That is no coincidence. There was no storm that night. So that's one thing. The next thing, I've done this quite a few times, but I'll tell you my last thing. They like venison. So my gifting area on the state land, I put out a bunch of apples, 2 jars of peanut butter, and a bunch of venison on the ground. I put a camera facing that stuff. I put a camera on the other side of that stuff facing that stuff, and both cameras are facing each other. And I always let the cameras take a timestamp of me when I'm setting them up, so I got myself on there. So I said, okay, on this first camera, and again, there's no leaves in the trees, so I can see a long ways, and I'm not yelling. On this camera here, I want you to make it not work. I do not want a picture of me on here now, and I want you to twist this camera. On the other camera, I said, I want you to make it work. I want a picture of me on it when I'm setting it up. I want pictures of deer, bear, and birds going through here. But then do your magic. I said, I don't want no pictures of what took the food, nothing. But then when I come back, get the camera, I want a picture of me on it. After about 3 or 4 days, I go back there, guess what? The first camera is twisted, just like I asked. And the batteries are still good in it because the camera's on. When I get home with the SD cards, this first camera that was twisted, like I asked, there's no picture of me on there. There's no picture of nothing on it. It's like it doesn't work, just like I asked for. The other camera has got a picture of me when I set it up. It's got a picture of deer, bear, and birds going through there. And then it's got no pictures of what took the food. Not a one. And then there's pictures of me when I picked the camera up. No, I didn't yell that out. I'm just talking. And then this December here, I took John Badger, he's part of the SRA. We went back to some other state land, farther back in, where I don't usually take a bunch of people. And he's walking with me, and I quietly say, hey, you guys, I want to know that you're still here with me. Give me a knock or something. And we got really startled. So we got 6 knocks. But it was like this here. Plop, 3, 4, and a space, and then 1, 2. Now, a Navy guy told me in Morse code that means hello. Oh, I don't hear you guys.
Oh, we weren't saying anything.
Yeah, we're listening, but I was just saying that's what I was going to say is Morse code.
Yep, that's what you told me. It's Morse code. Okay, so it was getting kind of dark out. So we went back home. The next day I went back there where we stopped, and I walked where I thought the knocks were coming from. But then I walked a couple miles on other people's land back and forth, checking it out really good. Not one track. Not one track. I got tracks of deer back there, tracks of occasional wolf I've seen. Not one track of a Sasquatch. Not no tracks of humans either. So that's what tells me they're interdimensional. They're hearing me and listening to me. They don't have to be on the earthly plane to do that. That's why nobody will ever kill one. They don't. I don't even know if they need food to eat. But I do know when they're on Earth, the earthly plane, as I call it, they leave tracks. They leave hair. I got 30-some envelopes of hair. They kill deer. So when they're here, they are like flesh and blood, but they're more than that. So I got something else to tell you. They can really mess you up in the woods too, big time. This is going to be a hard story for me to explain to you, but it was me, John Badger, Mike, the book writer, and my wife's son, Tanner, which has had a lot of knocking when he's been hunting and the smells and all that. So to make it short, we're walking back in the state land where I do all my gifting, and we come across this teepee. It's a massive teepee. And Mike says, "Oh, look at that teepee." I said, "Mike, that's the teepee that's in the book. You know that one." He says, "Oh, yeah, you're right." And we're sitting there taking a little break, and they want me to take them across the river, across the Beaver Dam to the Cedar Swamp area, because there's a lot of stuff over there, and I've never taken them there. And so we're sitting there. I said, "Well, we better get going. We got to walk north now. We got to walk quite a ways. But now remember, you girls remember this. Original teepee, less than 50 yards away, you can see the fence line, and you can see some pine trees. Okay, remember that. And I'll go back to that, but remember the fence line, pine trees, original teepee. So, and I walk fast in the woods. Not even some 20-year-olds can't keep up with me. Because I can really, oh yeah. I'm not like some old 63-year-old man, yeah. But anyways, we get walking about, I'm just guessing, maybe 60, 70 yards from the original teepee. I come across these two square rectangular holes. Kind of like this, about that deep, about that wide. And it wasn't where no trees fell over. I thought, well, this is kind of weird. We're looking at them. I'm on my hands and knees getting all the leaves out of them. And you don't really see nothing. But it was weird. Two holes like together like that. So I said, "You guys want to go still?" They said, "Yep." So we get walking. So we're like 300. It takes us quite a while to get to where we're going. But we hadn't made it to the river yet. And I say, "Oh, my God, you guys, you got to see this. There's this teepee here. I've never seen this one before. It's really something." Oh, I'm really excited about it. Now remember, fence line, pine trees, and there's snow on the ground. Our tracks go north.
Oh, Randy, you paused again. You paused again. So can you back up a little bit? So you said, now remember, fence line.
Yeah, remember the original teepee, there's a fence line and the pine trees that you can see. So I get walking, I'm quite a ways, and we're walking north. After the two square holes, I'm good 100 yards from them, because they're slow walkers. And I say, "Oh my God, look at this teepee here. It's massive." And I'm all excited about it. They finally get up to me and they're taking pictures of it. Mike's inside the teepee and we're videotaping him. We're all excited about this one. And I say, "You guys still want to go?" "Nah, it's getting late, like 4:30. I said, "By the time we get to the Cedar Swamp, we're gonna have to come back in the dark." They didn't want to do that. So we leave and we have to walk south. And we do walk south for quite a ways. Then we get to the fence line and the pine trees. Then we go home. Those guys are all gone. I'm looking at my phone at the video of Mike and all that. And guess what? We were at the original teepee. I can see the fence line and the pine trees we were at the original teepee. There never was no new teepee.
Oh,
Here's a really one. I can't wrap my head around what happened to us. Maybe you girls can. When I went back there the next day, our tracks go north. They go north, just like I said, we never circled around. So I don't know what happened to us. What do you think happened? It's hard to explain.
I've had a situation in the woods where I was sure that the structure that we were going to see was not the structure that we found before. And I walked right up to it and was like, this isn't it. This isn't it. And I had the GPS coordinates. I was at the right spot. And it looked right, but I was convinced that it wasn't it. Jenna, were you convinced it wasn't it?
I was convinced. It did not feel the same. It did not look the same. It just was different all around.
And I felt compelled to walk deeper into the forest. And I knew that the structure was only like 50 to 75 feet off of the trail we came in on. And I just, we got to go deeper. And I just felt compelled to go deeper. And it took me a long time, and we circled around and came back behind it. And I'm like, why didn't I think this was it before? Couldn't figure out why. Because I'm like, this is obviously it.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, though. When we left, well, we thought we were at a new structure and walked quite a ways to get to the fence line and the pine trees. Well, we were at the old structure. We should have been there within 1 minute. That's not what it was. So what did they take that old structure and make us see that? But how did that work?
Well, with that, we're going to have to go to our commercial break, and we'll come back and revisit the rest of that story with Randy Bauer. Stay tuned, everybody. Good job, Randy.
Oh, can I talk now?
Yeah, we're on commercial break, but everything you say is going to be on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. I still can't wrap my head around what happened to us, because the next day I walked back, my tracks go north, their tracks go north.
And how long did you say you guys have been walking for? Did you feel like you had been walking south for how long?
Jenna, we should probably wait for the show to come back on.
Oh, I could redo. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I've
got a headache.
I'm dizzy.
Wow. Tammy, what are you?
I'm
awesome.
Just tired. It's been a long day. Oh, and yes, I am awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, that's
Thanks
what
for
I thought.
noticing.
You're welcome. I kind of noticed myself too.
Those Sasquatches are here too right now, because I got new tracks as of yesterday in the snow.
Oh, really?
And hair.
I can't wait to get out there and visit you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a question in the chat room too.
Okay.
Oh, 2 now.
I'm watching for Sarge to give me the go. Oh, I can't do that. I'm dizzy. Welcome back to the show, everyone. Hey, this is the Journey Radio Show, and we're the She Squatchers. Won't you check us out online at shesquatchers.com? And then you can find us on Facebook and Instagram under She Squatchers Official. Please like and follow us there for what is the newest goings on with us. Also, we have a YouTube channel, also found at She Squatchers Official. Please come subscribe to our channel, and you'll get to see all of our shows and everything that we find. So we're here tonight with Randy Bauer. But before we get back to Randy, I'm just going to make a quick announcement. This year, we are doing something a little different. We have planned lots of documentaries filming. So we're not going to be at as many events as we normally are. So for those event organizers out there, if you really want us this year, you got to get in touch with me and get that set up, because we are running out of space for you. So if that's something you're thinking about, definitely for next year too. So back to the show. We've got Randy Bauer from Black Duck, Minnesota. And Randy, you were telling us more about this story. Tell us more.
Okay, the thing is, when I went back the next day, our tracks did go north. Now, when thought we were at the new teepee, and they said they didn't want to go back to the swamp, to the river, because it was getting too late, we had to walk a good 6-7 minutes to get to the fence line in those pine trees. But we were at the original teepee the whole time. How did that happen? I can't wrap my head around what did they do to us. It didn't make no sense. It doesn't make sense at all.
And when you followed those footprints, was it 6 minutes worth of footprints?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. And
Huh.
I could take you right to where we thought we'd seen a new teepee, but it never was there.
So you've got all these pictures of an
I know what
already
I just thought of what
existent.
they did. I know what they did. I just thought what they did. They must have taken, because I was videotaping, so they must have taken that teepee and I could see the fence line. So they must have put that image there where I was at, and that's what else would it be? That's come to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be so many different things.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I'm sure. Now, I'll tell you about the things that's happened in the house here. Well, no, I got something better to tell you first. I'm going to tell you about the portal. Now, 2 years ago, John Badger, that's the guy that comes here a lot. We're back in the state land. We go back about 8 o'clock. We bring some apples, a jar of peanut butter to my original gifting area. And I got a deer stand there 50 yards away, but we're right in the woods. And he had a brand new camera, brand new SD card, brand new batteries. We put that up, let it take a picture of us and all that. So we get in the stand. The stand's not big enough for two of us. He's sitting down. I'm kind of like that there. About 11 o'clock at night, it's so dark I can't even see him, even though his shoulder touching my shoulder. I'm seeing a doorway. I'm looking towards the east, and this doorway is like three times as wide as a regular doorway and a lot taller. And it's about 50 yards away or so. I'm just guessing, but it was close. And I'm looking at it, and it's shimmering like the northern lights. It's kind of reddish, yellowish, bluish, greenish. And I'm looking at it. I don't say nothing to John yet. I take my glasses. I rub my eyes. Am I seeing that? Put them back on. I am. I say, John, you see that? He says, yeah, he's been watching it too. All of a sudden, two orbs come out of it. And those orbs are big. But we hear the footsteps. Yep. Footsteps, bipedal, like they say, bipedal footsteps, walking, two of them. They're walking right over to my gifting area. A minute or so later, they come back, but the first one is not formed into the orb yet. I could see a cone head, the red eyes, the shoulders, the arms swinging back and forth. The one behind it is an orb. They go to that doorway looking thing, and it's all gone. So we stay there till 12:30 or so, nothing. We get down, we go over to my gifting area there. The apples are gone, the peanut butter is gone, the whole jar is gone. SD card is wiped clean, and the batteries are drained dry.
How big were the orbs?
Big.
I'm just curious.
Big, like this. Big.
Oh.
Big, not little things like this. Big.
Like self-illuminated, like they were light sources?
They were light source illuminated, yep.
What color?
Reddish, orangish, like
fire?
Almost luminescent,
like fire.
kind of.
Yep. And we could hear the footsteps of walking in the leaves. But on the way back, they came back a little bit later, like a minute or so. The one wasn't quite in the orb yet. I could see its face and its eyes and its cone head and its shoulders and its arm swinging. The other one was in the orb. They go to that doorway thing and poof, it's all gone.
So you literally got to see the change.
Yes, John Badger was with me. He's seen it too. We were both seen it.
So is that basically the moment that you said interdimensional travel is real?
Yes, it's real. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I put all that other stuff with what's happening, Now, about that TP thing and all that stuff, after I got home here a couple months later, I've been thinking about this. I was thinking about it. There's been times I've been back in those woods there, and I can walk you right now to any spot back in there. I know them so good. There's times I've been back there and I don't know where I'm at. I don't recognize nothing. You even get panicky feeling in my stomach. I even get my compass out and stuff to look and see. And I use my compass to get out of there, but I'm where I should be at. But I've had that several times. But I never dawned on that now until this happened, and I'm putting it all together. Okay. 3 years ago, I take the grandkids. My wife is gone. She's not home. Nobody's home. I got the grandkids. We go to a rodeo. My one granddaughter is really big. In fact, she's 7th in the world right now in breakaway calf roping, and she's 17.
Wow.
Anyways, we go to the rodeo in Bemidji, and it's raining a lot. And so Rachel, that's my daughter, asked if I could take their 1-ton truck and flatbed and come back with 25 bales of hay the next morning at 6. So I said, yeah, you could have my pickup and I'll take yours. We get home with the big trailer, me and the 2 little girls. I go up to the door of the house. Oh my God, my door's locked. She's got my keys. I can't no key to get in my house.
Oh no.
So I find a crowbar and I kind of jimmy the door open. I get in there. I have a new computer. I come in here, don't turn the lights on. I set the computer on this table that we're at right now. Turn the lights on. I said, what the heck? ice cream bar all over my computer. I'll explain it to you. Something, I'm not saying it's Sasquatch, but something came in our house, opened up an ice cream bar, and it melted all over, but the stick was on the opposite side. The stick was out of that liquid part, was on the opposite side, set in there. Now, if I'd have took an ice cream bar out and forgot about it, one thing, I wouldn't open it up. And if I did open it up, the stick would still be in the frozen part because I had left and it had been frozen. It was on the opposite side. Okay. I clean that all up, get the girls to bed. I go get ready to go to bed, and I get ready to crawl in bed. Guess what? It's bigger than 2 basketballs. Something pissed into my bed all the way down to the box spring. I couldn't even sleep in my bed. It was bad. The worst, sourest, baddest smell I've ever smelled.
What do you think it meant? I mean,
I don't know, because it's not the first time it's happened.
oh, really? So that
No.
you mean the wet on the mattress wasn't the first time?
No, okay. The
of
week
bedwetting?
after that, yeah, that happened once on the bed. Now, alongside the bed, there's a little dresser there. And now Terry was up at Oak Island and by Canada and Lake of the Woods working. So I was home that whole time by myself. I always lock the bedroom door. It's just been a habit of mine. I don't need to lock it, but I would just lock it. And we got these French doors. And Annie, and it wasn't the dog that peed on the bed because she was in the kennel. I ain't gonna let her run loose in the house. That could be a disaster. Okay. The next week, I'm about 4 in the morning. She gets growling really, really bad, viciously growling, looking out the door. And I'm like froze. I can't move. My door handle's going click, click, turning it back and forth, but I can't move. I'm frozen for some reason. Then I must have dozed back to sleep or something. She quit barking. The next morning, I grab my clothes that's on that little dresser. They're full of piss. The dog cannot get up. It's too high. Dog can't stand up. They're full of piss. The same smell. Bad. Really bad. So.
That's weird. I've never heard of that before.
I know. How about the lawnmower incident? Last year, I got a John Deere lawnmower 425. It's a John Deere green tractor, power steering and everything, all the wheels in the back turn, but it's a steering wheel. So I park it where I do, and it's facing east. Take the key out of it. Well, you can't push it because it's power steering. The wheels won't turn. I come in here, make a sandwich, you go out there. Guess what? 60 yards away, it's facing north and south. And we got a new garage, and it's that steel, corrugated steel. There's 7 fingers. You can see the finger marks across the garage in the back. You know, they went, they must have been a young one, went across the garage like that there, left their white, oily hand finger streaks across my whole back of my garage.
Wow. Do you have pictures of all of this too?
Well, I don't have pictures of the lawnmower being moved. No, I didn't.
No, but I mean like the fingerprints.
Yeah, that stuff. Oh, yeah, I got pictures of all that stuff, yeah. But they moved my lawnmower. How about this one here? A couple years ago, back in the woods here, we got some 4-wheel trails, and then there's woods, and there's the river. Well, I have a little trail I walk across the log to get to a deer stand, but it was growing over with that tag altar brush. It was all coming down like this. I couldn't even get through there. So I cut it all down, and I had my wife's son, Tanner, what lives with us, pile it in a nice pile, all quite a ways way back in the woods ways. I come back the next day, guess what? All that brush was piled across my 4-wheel trail. I couldn't even drive about 5 feet up. There's
Wow.
nobody would go through the work to hoax me on that one. Nobody trespass on our own land. I would know that. Yeah.
Wow, what experiences you've had. How
And,
exciting.
I made a deer stand last year right behind the house here. So it's right behind the house here. And Tanner did the same thing with a bunch of little popples, pile them up real neatly. They taken some of those popples and leaned it into the pine tree, just like this. They're the ones I cut. You can see that I cut them. They didn't blow up there by themselves. They were placed there. Nobody even knows that deer stand's there. I mean, even my wife don't even know where it's at. And she wouldn't do that anyways. So.
Well, yeah, I hope your wife wouldn't do that. That would
No,
be very,
she wouldn't even
very
go.
nice.
She won't even go in the woods. Okay. 4 years ago, Terry, 2 of the grandkids, and Samantha, that's Terry's daughter, were all in the yard playing with the kids. They heard a loud crack right in the woods, close to the yard. They come running in and tell me, we heard a loud crack. Now, there's 4 of them out there. When I went out there, guess what was stuck in the grass in the middle of our yard into the ground? A Y stick, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I still have it. That crack they heard was them breaking off that dead stick there of 4 and throwing it, and like I suppose like a spear, and it landed in the grass.
So what do the grandkids think? What do the kids think?
They're kind of scared now to go back in the woods now that they've seen them. They're kind of scared. Bristol will go with me. That's the older one, but she's hesitant. But I wish I would have taped Madison when she was 4 years old. I didn't tape her. I had them back there in my gifting area, and all on her own, she'd say, Sasquatch, we mean no harm. We won't hurt you. We love you. Just come. We want to see you. We mean no harm. She kept saying it over and over. I should have taped that, but I never got it taped.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would have been sweet to see.
Samantha was driving home and seeing one cross in front of her, cross from the west to the east, going into our land. She said it was the most massive thing she'd ever seen. It turned and looked at her, arms were down. It was so massive, it was like the Hulk, but like 4 times bigger than the Hulk. And so she won't go back in the woods anymore. And then last year, she was outside, and I was up with the SRA up by Kellier. They were doing a little outing up there. So I was going to go up there with them. She called me on the phone, frantic. She said, oh, I had this really awful feeling, like I'm all disoriented out in your yard. And she came in the house and was calling me. I said, Samantha, just go out on the deck and talk to him. I said, I know what's happening. So go talk to him. Say you like him. Say whatever you want to say. And she did. And she got 3 knocks at her right away. I know.
Well, I just can't wait to come visit you. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Now, 2 years ago when the SRA was here, they camped out 2 tents in the southeast corner. There was 2 tents in the southwest corner, and then 2 tents in the middle. But before they got there, every day I'd go out there and I said, okay, you guys, I call the Sasquatch, you guys, I said, I got some friends coming up here. They're good people. They mean no harm, but I want you to scare the hell out of them. Give them something they're going to remember. I said that every day. And guess what? They got something. Every one of them did. Yes. Even Mike did, the book writer. Yes. The first 2 guys, and he's Andy. He used to be part of the BFRO when they first started. He was on the shows and all that. Him and his kid were in the tent, and something was walking around their tent, hitting it, slapping their tent. The way I look at it, if I'm out there in a tent and something's happened, I'm going to get out and look. Otherwise, what am I doing it for? They were too scared to get out and look. So that happened to them. The next morning, the other side of the 40 acres, they got up in the morning about 7. The one guy said to the other guy, did you already have your breakfast? And he said, no, I thought you did. Something got in their cooler, opened the latches up, lifted their lid up, put their lid on the table, and went through all their stuff. So that's happened to them. Now, Todd, he's kind of the head of the SRA. He really got scared, him and another guy. Saturday night, usually about 4 in the morning, something went by their tent, hitting it, and then they heard wings flapping, really loud wings flapping. I don't know what that's all about. And then the wings came back again, and they wouldn't get out. So that's that. Yeah,
How
they would
close
get out.
to your house were they tenting? Like, were they by your house? Were they in your yard, or where were they at?
They're on part of our house is on the 40 acres. They're maybe 300 yards away.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a little deer field in the back there, and I got a fire ring back there, and they were in the corners of each of the 40 acres, each corner. But Todd and those guys were in the middle, so not that far away from my house. So, God, what else was I going to tell you? God, I was going to tell you something else.
How cool we are.
Well, you told us before the show that somebody said that your place is like the Skinwalker Ranch of northern Minnesota. Why?
Oh, because of all the weirdness I got going on here. Doug Hychek said that. I'll even say his name. He said that because of all the strangeness.
Hi, Doug.
Okay. When Doug Hychek was here, and Adam Colt was his recording engineer, I took him back to my peanut butter gifting area there, and Tanner was there too. And they were just looking at them, looking at all the peanut butter caps and how they're in range and color order and all that. They told me to sing. When I started singing, they had that really awful smell, really about making them throw up. When I stopped singing, it went away. When I started singing, it came back again. About 5 different times I did that. So Doug Hychek will talk about that one.
So he
Now,
was there and smelled that bad
he
smell.
was there, and he was wanting to tell me, keep singing, Randy. So I'd keep singing. Now,
So what does that mean about your singing?
Yeah, no doubt.
okay, here's what I think about the smell. I don't think they walk around and didn't smell like they haven't had a bath in 6 months. I think maybe they put that smell in your mind, because I didn't have that smell when I was there. I didn't smell a thing. Now here's another thing. Me and Tanner, after I got a hand too, a juvenile hand when it was reaching for my venison last year. Perfect fingers, fingernails, and everything. Now I said, Tanner, let's go back there where I do my venison. Let's just sit down on 2 trees, dead trees on the ground there, and just sit there, be quiet, shut our eyes, and just sit there. But I don't do that too often. So we did that. And as soon as I tell you what I'm going to tell you, as soon as Tanner says something happened to me. He says, oh my God, that rotten dead animal, dead bad smell. And I got hit out of my tree. I'm sitting down kind of on the ground, but it gets knocked, wham, really hard. I never had the smell at all. And then we had the whistling at us. And I can't whistle very good. So I kind of whistled back, and they answered me back. Now, I got pictures of deer kills that they do. It's like they pluck the hair out. I got lots of pictures of, sometimes it's 3 or 4 deer, and when killing, all the hair has been plucked out. You can see it's been pulled out. There's not a bone, a hide, a rib cage, nothing. I got pictures of wolf kills, and there's always a mess. That might be a part of the spine left over, stuff like that. When Sasquatch does a deer, there's nothing left over. They must take it somewhere. Now, I know what I was going to tell you. That Saturday, when the SRA was here and that Andy, wildlife biologist, was here and his kid, they were back in the woods with us, way back in the state land. He was like 100 feet from us, and I was with the rest of the guys. We did not realize he was having something happening to him. He was having some bad smells and stuff. But there were some ravens have something to do with them too. I got stories about ravens too. But anyways, those ravens were circling around us. And I said, you guys listen, I can kind of sound like a raven. And so when I did that, there was a Sasquatch right by him. He got up and walked off. And that biologist and his son seen him walk off. It was the black one, or it was a black one. So they seen him that Saturday night too, walking around the 40 acres with their little red flashlights. The son and the dad did. And so when the next morning I said, Mike, let's walk back from our yard, because it was close to our yard where it was walking. Let's walk over there and see if we see anything. Of course, we didn't. Then we came back to my yard where his vehicle was parked, and a raven flew from where we just were, got down almost head level to us, and hovered 5 to 10 seconds watching us, looking at us. We could almost reach it, looking at us, and then flew back the same way. There's a lot of times I'll be back in the woods and ravens are circling me. I don't know why, but they're circling me.
Do you think that it's more than just Bigfoot in your area? Can you expand on that?
All I can, no, I can't really, but John from the SRA, he says I got 2 things going on here. And he's seen one jump the fence last year in front of him, like a sprinter. Yep, he's seen it. There's something else weird too. When he sent me the GPS coordinates last year, he sent them to me. I don't even know if I should even say this, but I will. He sent them because I got nothing to hide. He sent them to me. He sent them to Doug Hychek. That afternoon, I'm back there where those GPS coordinates are. An airplane flies around me, circles me, the same exact spot. So low I can see the guy's face. I wave at him. He don't acknowledge me, but he sees me. It flew around in a circle 8 times. The same circle 8 times. And then we looked it up. I got that FlightAware thing. That plane was rented from Bemidji. Flight pattern was to my place and then back to Bemidji again after that 8 times. Now, what's that supposed to mean?
Very interesting.
Is Doug Hychek being monitored? Am I being monitored? Or did the Hychek do it?
Yeah.
He didn't do it.
Oh, you did ask him. Okay.
Oh, yeah. We're good friends. I've been to his house and everything. Yeah.
Oh, good. He's nice. I like that.
Yeah. He even gave my granddaughter an $800 bicycle just because he liked her.
Oh,
Yeah.
Doug, I need a bike.
But anyways, that's really weird too. Of course, that airplane's not going to see nothing. No.
Yeah.
When I did go in the woods where it jumped the fence, where it went that way, all I did is I found a deer bone in the crotch of a tree. I didn't see nothing else. Nothing, no structures. And not all woods have structures. I've been like when I'm working up at Lake of the Woods on Oak Island up there, there's not a one. Not a one. Nothing like what we got here. I have so many here. It's like it's people that have come here. I've had people from Ohio come here that are really into this a lot. George Workman, you ever heard of him?
I have a question. Are they den-like structures? Like, do they look like they would? No.
No,
Not-
not at all.
You don't have any den-like structures?
I don't have any den-like structures. Oh, I got one thing to tell you. A couple years ago, I'm back in the woods, back in that other state land where I don't take I'll take you girls there. I always say you guys, but you girls there. I'll take you girls back there. And I come across a bunch of willows that are broke over, and there's a bunch of straw. It's straw. I know it's straw. And there's a pile of crap there that long and about that big around. Oh, I'm excited about it. I know it's not a regular animal. So I'm getting ready to take a picture of it. Guess what? My phone instantly goes dead. Instantly dead. It was 100% charged, or probably like 90% by that time walking that far. I go back the next day, that stuff is gone.
So you found scat.
Oh, it was huge, like
it's-
bigger than an elephant, but long,
Wow.
like we would do, long, you know. But anyways, when
It
they
would be a
built-
proud photo moment.
Yes, it would be a proud photo moment.
when they built, okay, when they bale straw or make round bales, they wrap it with a nylon webbing, right? Guess what? About a mile away, there's the only farmer around here. He's about 2 miles away. No way from 2 miles away, nylon webbing is going to get to my place wrapped around a tree. It was wrapped around a tree. So they must have carried a bale, or however they made it go back there, or however they do it. I don't think they picked up and carried it. I don't know. Oh, they did it. But
You're
I
talking
found that
about the big
twice.
round bales, not the little square ones.
Big round bale, those.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
We have a request in the chat room for you to do a part 2 show.
Oh, I will. Anytime, yeah. You know what? And then Mike, I just wanted to say this. Mike wrote that book. You've seen that book, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not getting a penny out of that. I didn't care about getting a penny out. I just needed to get my story out there. But I got so much going on. I didn't know who am I going to turn to? So that's how that all evolved. But he did a pretty good job of writing that. But he's good with his words.
He is definitely.
Mhm.
Yes. Michael Quast is the author that wrote. What is the name of the book again?
Sasquatch Central, High Strangeness at a Northern Minnesota Homestead.
Yes. And that's the answer to a question in the chat room right now is where is he located? He's in northern Minnesota.
Yep.
So, and we are definitely coming out. Jenna and I plan to come out in the springtime sometime, and then Tammy's coming out later in the summer, and we'd like to all come back then. But we'd like to scope it out earlier before
That's
she comes,
fine.
so we know what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
If that's okay.
That is okay.
All right. Well, that's the end of the show. Thank you for joining us. Can you come back in 2 weeks?
Yes, I can.
All right. We'll
Yay.
have you back in 2 weeks. Everybody
good.
better tune into that. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And we'll see you next time right here on the Journey Radio Show.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, everybody. I'm still here.